Ladies and gentlemen, can I officially say it's Friday? And then also, my internet's working. Kudos to me.
We are on Friday. Thank God
Right.
it is Friday.
You are not lying, Teach. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition to another installment of Hashtag Fade to Black. I am your host, Don Alamonte Morris, here with Ania Joke, aka Cheech. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Donnell. How are you?
Pretty good. So unfortunate news, ladies and gentlemen. Beast Johnson will not be joining us. He's actually supporting an event for Daddy Duties, which is funny because we actually had them on the show a long time ago. So they're doing an event out there, and we want to wish Beast and that event and Daddy Duties
Much
on
success.
much success.
Much success.
Hopefully that event kicks off great and ends on a great note and also pushes the narrative out there in North Carolina. But other than that, Teach, let's go and jump into the opening statements. And you are first at that. And look like it's just going to be. And also, though, before we go into opening statements, you already know Mayo, money never sleeps, or as Beast will always say, bro man from the fifth flow. He's going to be coming in later in the show. So, but let's go get started and Teach. You are first up to bat.
Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? My opening statement is going to deal with the state of readiness. Many of us have dreams, we have hopes, we have aspirations, but do we have what it takes to go to the next level? Now, I learned a very valuable lesson about networking and allowing that network to work before you. You know, from time to time, I'll use a Bible passage that says that your gift will bring you before great men. And the simple translation is that if you are working your craft, your art, your talent, the world is going to notice. The world is going to appreciate you and begin to open up doors of opportunity. And some of those doors are doors that you can't even imagine. You don't know how. You don't know how you got there. You don't know how to get through it. But it comes down to a state of readiness. Will you be a person that's always ready, willing to learn and go to the next step? Or will you be the type of person that will let doubt and unworthiness and feelings of not deserving that next level by self-sabotage? Others can sabotage us and you will fight and overcome. But when you sabotage yourself, you're saying, I am not ready. I'm not ready to go to the next step. I cannot appreciate the opportunities that are presented before me. Therefore, I bow out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you hope for any success, you have to change your mind. You have to put your mind in a place of readiness and be ready to go at any given moment into your success, because opportunities will come when the opportunity is ready. So therefore, you should practice being in a state of readiness. So when the opportunity is ready, you're ready, and guess what? You can go to that next level. I hope you enjoyed these words of encouragement, and that is my opening statement.
Thank you so much, Teach. And guess what? I can do an opening statement. Yes. So happy. So my opening statement yesterday is translated into this one for today. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I titled it Create Your Own, but Be Careful. It's funny what Teach was saying because it kind of, you know, drips into what I got here. So I broke it down into 2 points. Now, before Monday show, we was talking about Tamika Mallory and how all the others, that go boots on ground and just there for support and don't go as further as they should. Hold on real quick. And don't go further as they should. We got into a confrontation. I won't say confrontation, but we got into a big disagreement because it all goes back to, we don't know what we want. It goes back on the black agenda. So it makes it seem like people like Tamika Mallory are just doing this just to further their own career. Now, with me saying that, I still stand by for what I said about Tamika Mallory. But for those that has any disagreements with people like Tamika Mallory, I want to sum up these 2 points for you. And the first point goes like this. If you don't like what's going on, change the status quo. Now, that's something I live by. This is the reason why I have this show. And the funny thing is, I learned that point from a billionaire that basically buys politicians and have everything, on his side. He's a Las Vegas tycoon. He owns casinos. He owns hotels. I mean, I'm not talking about just like a 1.5 billion. I'm talking about like multi. I'm talking like 87, probably 100 billion right now as we speak. And he was asked a simple question. Like, what advice do you give any entrepreneur or anybody who wants to be like you? He said, change the status quo, but nobody listens. So if you don't like the Al Sharptons, or don't even like the Mitch Farrakhan's of the world, create your own. Do what they're not doing, or do what they're doing, but do it with purpose and getting results. And I'm not going to bring capitalism in it, because capitalism to me does not have anything to do at all, even though capitalism is destroying our society. But you got to get up and do something. It's easy to be on your laptop. It's easy to be on your phone. It's easy to be on your tablet and write down how much you don't like what somebody's doing, or how much you can't stand how much P. Diddy's making. Because at the end of the day, P. Diddy's going to be going home in his nice mansion, falling asleep in his nice, comfortable bed, worry-free, still making money, still being an influence on the world, and gets up every day, worry-free. While you continue to get up, go to your 9 to 5, hate how much life is, not to mention even the drive to work pisses you off. Excuse my language. So what do? You do something about it. You change it. You either start a show, start a podcast, or start your own business, which Teach was talking about on Wednesday. Go ahead and enroll in the PPP. Get your PPP loan. Don't let nobody talk you out of it. Because if you don't like what's going on outside your door, do something. And don't let others or even yourself talk you out of it. Because if you continue to do the same thing every day, sit back and complain about how you don't like this, how you don't like that, you know different than the next guy sitting in a peanut gallery. Which lead me to this next point. Don't write a check that you can't afford. Now, I know a lot of y'all probably saying, I've never heard that saying. Let me explain. Because the other one's just to joke around. This one is for real. Because you got the so-called black media out there that sit there and say that they're the new they're the new information for black people and that they keep it real. Okay. Just because you could just get an article, critique it, or get a video and critique it and give your points about it does not make you news. Now, I'm not saying all the things that you're saying is not wrong, because you could be making some valid points and you could be speaking nothing but truth. But what does that make that news? That's more of an opinion piece. If you don't have evidence backing up your claim rather than saying that it's not right, then it's not news. Well, to tell you the truth, it's opinionated journalism, which if you thank Fox News for that, because at one time, if you want to talk about actual news before the Fox News of the world, news was just reported as news. None of the columnists, none of the commentators ever had anything to say how they felt about it or what should have happened. They just report the news when it was fresh off the press or whatever was placed in front of them. They reported it, and that was it. And then Fox News came around. Now you got columnists sitting there saying how they feel about a story. Either they disagree with it or they agree with it, and then they put their spin on it. And they put so much of a spin on it that you forget what the story was all about. If it wasn't for Fox News starting this opinionated journalism, all these YouTube shows wouldn't even exist. YouTube probably wouldn't even exist. Twitch, even Facebook. Just think about it. Facebook is notorious with it. You can put a post on how you do not like Chevrolet, even though I can't stand Chevrolet. And you will have that one person, well, I won't say one person, you will have those impressionable minds that's going to believe that, and they're going to run with it without even asking questions of, why do you hate Chevrolet so much? What is the alternative to Chevrolet? Which I will encourage you to go for Ford. No sales pitch. I wish. Ford, holler at me. But if I don't have anything to back that up, then I'm just brainwashing you. And then shame on you for not asking questions. So that's why I say, don't write a check that you can't afford, where you can't back it up, because you're going to have somebody who's experienced in the game put you on notice and start asking these questions to you, what your audience should be asking you. And then also for the audience, we have to be asking these questions. Like on this show, we encourage y'all to do your own research when y'all hear from us. Do your research. Because we can admit, the biggest thing that people need to start doing and that we do on the show is admit when we're wrong. But when we're right, we stand on it. Even with information from reliable sources are proven wrong and still prove our point, we're going to stand on it. So for the new black me, I want to tell you this. I'm not saying that y'all not doing a good deed. I'm not saying that. But you putting your twist and your opinions on it is not helping us out, not one bit. Because actual news media not only just cover stories from other outlets, they also report stories that nobody's talking about, or organic stories that's happening in their community. And they just don't report about it behind a mic and behind a laptop. They actually go there. They actually talk to the family or actually talk to the people that's being affected by this news. And honestly, if y'all don't do that, y'all not real media. Y'all just simple media. Just posting stuff and just giving your thoughts. Because everybody's a media. If you got Facebook, you're media. If you got a Twitter account, you're the media. If you got Snapchat, you got media. You want to know why? Because you produce content every day. Only difference is you're not making no money off it. And also, you're not considering yourself a media like that. It's just your profile page. So everybody who hold these black media creators, the new black media, to this high regard, ask these questions. What other news stories are y'all covering? Are you going to be there? What are you doing to improve my life today so I don't have to worry about it tomorrow? And all the things that you're seeing that this is your view, do you have the facts and the truth to back it up? Because if you don't ask these questions, you're brainwashed and you know different from the person that's producing this content. They're doing a disservice to you and you're doing a disservice to yourself. Because the new black media is what's going to be. It is what it is. I hate to use that saying. It is what it is. A YouTube corner of their community. You got the black conscious, you got the gamers, and now you got the new black media, their own little corner. They're not gonna get no bigger than that. And you could take that to the bank and you could tell them I said it. And with that, we gonna get on this show, and we will be right back once as I get everything straight on my end. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Teach. First of all, it's rare that I do a long opening statements, but I had to get that one out there. I think I deserved that one because I didn't do one yesterday. So
Yeah, I think you were feeling yourself, you were in your element, and it's all good. And
yeah.
our guest will be coming on shortly. He is in Uganda, and we had a time change since the last time. So he was expecting to come on in another hour, and he just texted me. I'm like, no, we're on the show now, so he should be joining us soon.
Okay. All right. Because I was just had the stuff ready right here. So before he comes on the show, going back to Monday, you actually had me thinking. Really, you had me thinking about because we had a show. It's funny. We do shows where we kind of left it at that, and then we come back to it, and then we finish it. We did have a show where we were talking about the Black agenda, and I actually today crafted up some ideas it would have been great if we would have had everybody on the show. And first of all, I forgot to mention that today's show is sponsored by Real Cheddar Boy Popcorn. That's a local. Oh, got the phone ringing and everything. I think she's got everything going on. But once again, Real Cheddar Boy Popcorn. It's the only black popcorn company here. 12 different flavors. Let me go ahead and put that site at the bottom. Yes, you can order and they will ship it out to you. Website down there, realchildboypopcorn.com. But yeah, as I was saying, Teach, so I came up with a couple ideas that just brushed off my mind, and I just wanted to see if you want to hear me out just a little bit before our guests come on. And see what you think.
Okay.
All right. So to give everybody a backstory, we actually was trying. We understand for the play of black folks. As much as we say that the government don't care about us, or they let all this happen, we don't have no agenda. Like if we go back to the Black Panther, they had that 10-point program. A lot of these programs that was created by the Black Panthers, you don't even realize that you're using. Like, for example, like free breakfast, even though they try to charge for that now, that was a Black Panther program.
Exactly.
And people don't even know that. A lot of the stuff that you probably experienced, like the Miranda rights, the right to remain silent, anything you say may and will be used to get you into court of law. That's not something that the police came up with. That was part of the 10-point program. And Teach also informed me about that. I never knew that. I thought it was just something, the government came up with a great idea. No, they actually took that from the Black Panther. But enough about the backstory. So here's one of my ideas. So here's my black agenda list. So number 1, investigate current black organizations like the United Negro Fund and NAACP, including our government reps. Reason why I put that is basically we didn't know what y'all doing. You should be on trial, be the jury of your peers. We should be like, hey, what are you doing to further our agendas, to further our issues, rather than just saying it just to say it and just kick it under the rug? But then when you want our vote, now all of a sudden, I put it to the floor, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then these other organizations that get donations that, they're supposed to be for our best interest, but you just choosing these high profile ones rather than the small little ones that could go a long way too as well. And so I say that we should put these organizations on trial. And I think our guest is actually trying to come in. Let me see if I can get him in. Hey, how you doing? Well, before I do that, I'm gonna let Cheech go ahead and introduce you. So go ahead, Cheech, the floor is yours.
Okay. We don't see him.
Oh, you don't? Oh, well,
I see
I
his
don't even.
name, but I don't see him. Do we have any audio? Keetba?
I think he's frozen.
Okay.
We'll go ahead. I'm take him off the screen. Hopefully that gets fixed. I will see them, and so hopefully he's probably going through some technical difficulties. Once that technical difficulties is taken care of, we go put him right back on the screen. He's fixing on that right now. But with that first point, Teach, we're gonna keep the show going.
Okay.
With that first point, Teach, what do you think?
You bring up a very interesting point about the Miranda rights and how it was the Black Panthers that were actually had a program of policing the police because of police brutality. They felt that just like you hear now overseas, a territory is occupied. They felt that their neighborhoods were being occupied, which is a military term, by the police in the neighborhood. So they began to give or read the rights to the individual that was getting arrested. And because of that political activism with the Black Panther Party, it later went on and became standard procedures for officers to read a person their Miranda rights um, if they find themselves being arrested by the police. So it is this activism. Most times it's not going to come from um, so-called leaders or specific organizations. Sometimes it's going to come from the people on the ground that's really pushing in one particular area or another. Um, Throughout our history here in America, we see what works is lawsuits, where you have like the case of Brown versus the Board of Education, the Dred Scott case, then we go on and on, Sweat versus Painter, and we go on and on. So utilizing legislature, utilizing the law to get judgments and get those judgments upheld by the community.
All
So,
right.
and so for our Black agenda, I would revisit the Black Panthers 10 points and see where we are because that was put out, I believe, 1966, 67 in that
Six. Yeah.
time. And to see, just do a comparison of where we are now and if there is any progress and make note of it because um, in the 60s we had massive discrimination.
Yeah.
In the 40s it was massive discrimination against the African American male, but it progressed, and we have the 1964 Civil Rights Act that where the government finally made itself stop practicing discrimination. So you see jobs open up. So from that time, you have two, maybe three generations of African Americans enjoying jobs where they can work and get a pension. And sometimes, in the case like in my family, you have second and well, first and second generation, third generation. The dynamics kind of change, but
So, yeah. Sorry to cut you. Oh, he just popped out. He was actually working on something. I'm about to pop him in, but he just left out again.
okay, okay. So, so it's imperative to check and see where we are. In the case of redlining, right now, we can pretty much, if we have the credit score, we have the income, we pretty much can move into any community that we want. So one of the points on the Black Panther Party was better housing. That's something that we can choose freely. Now we may get a higher mortgage rate, so that's something that still needs to be worked on. But from the time of those original 10 points, we have grown. So I'm saying all that to say that when we look at the Black agenda, we have to evaluate exactly where we are and what it is that we want. A lot of things have been answered. I will not say everything has been answered, but many of the 10 points have been answered. So for me, some things, like I was riding through a neighborhood and we went from one block to the next block, still the same neighborhood. And my grandson said, Grandma, when did we move? When did we go into the suburbs? I'm like, we're not in the suburbs. This is the same neighborhood. It's just that the people of this particular block have pride in their house. They have pride in their front lawns. They have pride in the way they're presented to the public. But you go one block over, and those people are lackadaisical. You see things that you just wouldn't see in some certain suburbs. So it comes down to us. You know, you say you want better housing, but when are you going to mow your lawn? You say you want better housing, but when are you going to put curtains up and take those sheets down off the windows? You say you
Yeah.
want housing. When are you going to take the fire grill off the front porch and put it in the backyard?
Right. Or that broken down car in the front where it should be in the back.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean,
When are we
y'all know exactly what we're talking about. They had that mean feisty dog that actually turned out to be a dog that likes you, barking in front of the yard. In a hot summer's day, all the dust piles up in the air and all that stuff. But let's go ahead and get our guest in. Let's try one more time. Hopefully everything's working on his end. Hopefully he I believe he's still having issues on his end. We gotta let me see. Go ahead and take him off.
Okay.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and mention this. Now, remember, he's in a whole different country, a whole different time zone, and the internet's not going to be working as super fast as ours. So keep that to account. Hopefully, we get him on the show, and he is going to be able to talk about his. I won't say business. I will say more of art. Let's call it what it is, art. So hopefully, once he gets back in, we can get the show started because the show was him being a guest, and I actually had the Black Agenda as the second half of the show. So, but yeah, going back to what you were saying, Teach. Like my first part, like my first point. What you think about that?
Um, the first point.
Yeah, I can read it again. So I put my first point is to investigate current Black organizations like the United Negro Fund, the NAACP, including government representatives.
Investigate them.
Mhm.
Um,
I think
for what
investigate is
purpose?
kind of
For what purpose? To review them, do a summary of where they are as to
yes,
when they first started. Um, or yeah, just an annual report on their status. I mean, I believe they provide that. I believe that's. I don't know if it's public record, but I believe they do a record of what they accomplished in the following years. But one organization, the NAACP, I found that it's losing its power, prestige, or grip. And
mhm,
I learned this firsthand through my students. In that, I remember, we talked about the NAACP in class, and it was one of the questions. What is the NAACP? And many
right,
students failed. They even after I taught them, they still couldn't say what the NAACP is. So for these upcoming generations, politically, or as far as activism is concerned, that's not the first organization that they think of. And yet that organization was the organization that was the bedrock for filing many lawsuits and making changes in our racial system in America.
right. Now I think we got a guest on. Hopefully, if you can hear us.
Hello, hello, Joel, can you hear us? I don't know if that's a picture or if it's
Yes,
frozen.
hello.
We got sound. We got sound. I get ready to say blink twice if you're good.
But welcome to the Fade the Black
Hello,
Show. We
hello,
love
hello. How are you?
you. I'm doing
I'm
fine.
pretty good.
Doing fine.
I'm just,
I I apologize.
I'm just,
Have what's called daylight savings time. So instead of you being 8 hours ahead of us,
yeah, I'm
you're
excited.
6 hours ahead of us. So I
Yeah,
apologize
the
for
network
that.
is just challenging, but I'm excited.
Okay.
All right. So I have a little video clip Let's roll the video clip of. All right, and this is his new book, Art a Solution.
We can use art as a solution in our lives. We can use art as a solution in the societies and communities where we stay. Art can be a solution to human emotional problems. Art can be a solution to all problems that are affecting us in our communities. The reason as why
And
I wrote this book is to show the whole world that art can be a solution. My name is Keetba Joel, the official author of this book and
I
founder
can't I can't hear
of
anything. I
Keetba
don't know.
Art
The
and
network is just
Munze.
I don't know what's wrong with
This
it.
book can reach you in all places of the
I beg
world.
your
This
pardon, please.
book can reach you in United States. This book can reach you in India, Japan, and every space that is in the world. Using universities, art centers, art galleries, and every space in the world. Thank you so much.
Okay, so that was very. I'm a step in real quick, teach. So let's go ahead and help him out because right now
We can
okay.
use art as a solution
Hold on, let me
in
see.
our lives. We can use
Let me go
art
ahead and
as a
pause.
solution in the societies and communities.
Had to pause it just in case everybody could hear. So I'm gonna go ahead and step in. So this brother here, let me go get my notes out. This brother here, his art. I actually looked at his page, and I'm gonna go ahead and show. I could be jumping the gun, but I want because he's actually having some, like I said, he's having issues logging in. So his art is something else. Like this right here.
This is the cover of his book,
Yeah,
Art
this
a
cover of
Solution.
his book. Yeah,
And
his yeah. Go ahead, teacher.
he's a member of TIE, which is the Teaching Artists Institute. And you know, our ongoing theme is art for social transformation, utilizing art to make a social impact, to make a change in our society. So he compiled this book with several different artists who are painters, drawers, and so forth in this type of medium. So he created this artist solution as a format for other artists to be able to showcase their art and allow us, the public, to be able to appreciate the art. Because one of the things that I teach as a member of, as a well, actually founding elder of TIE, is that your talent and your gift, whatever it is not for you. It's not for the artist, but it's for the people that would receive the art. So the art or the gift is not for the person that creates it, it's for the people that would benefit from it. And so, in this vein, he created this book uh, and brought other artists with him to be able to showcase and give voice to the many social situations in societies that we find ourselves in. And it looks like he's having terrible
Yeah.
connection, terrible connection, but he's a wonderful artist. Many times you hear me talk about the word moonzi, which means everything within you. This young man was the man that turned me on to that Ugandan word, moonzi. Everything you need is within you.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, teacher.
now you go ahead.
Well, I saw his both his Facebook and his Facebook for what he does, and seeing the kids, doing their paintings and all that stuff. That struck me. I
Yeah,
don't know why, but it did. Because I'm not saying with anything with children strikes me. It's just seeing children from Africa, from Uganda, where people, if you think of Uganda, the last thing you think about is art like this, maybe sculptures, but art like this. And just seeing them with smiles on their faces and just seeing them just painting. And it's just like, man, it's like, wow, you know, and just also proves that Africa is just more than just a big continent. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is a continent. And what Teach taught me as well is the only continent connected to the earth, to the center of the earth, is not only known for its resources, it's also known for its people that lives on the land and got this talent. And just what he, you know, because we got another video up on here too, how he engages with them. And it goes back to what you were saying, teachers, like it's not for him, it's for them. And in that video showed that. And speaking of that, you know, I'm about to show that video right now. Let me this is also the back cover of his book as well. I'm gonna let y'all give y'all time to look at that too as well. I believe was there another video that you sent, teacher? That was it.
There's one that I'm going to send you right now. And the reference that you're making to with him and the children, we were actually in Tanzania at the House of Children. And this is one of our community service days. We brought in him as the artist, and he engaged the students or the children of this orphanage, and they painted a mural. They wanted to, since they were orphaned, they wanted to have ownership, so to speak, of this orphanage. And so one of the things that he did was to paint this mural and get all of the students involved in painting some part of the mural. So I'm going to put this clip on, and I
Hold on.
guess it'll do something. It seems like I'm frozen. Okay, it says it's trouble sharing my video, so let's try again.
Hi.
Oh, okay,
Hi.
we can hear him.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? My network is not so good.
Okay. We were just talking about
You can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. All right. Danielle, I put the video up. It's on there, I believe.
Yeah, I got you. All right, so here we go. All right, here we go.
Where's it coming from? Okay.
But yeah,
so
I mean,
Joel, can you tell us about this mural? What was it all about? You have
Oh,
to take
we can't.
yourself off of mute. He's muted.
Yeah, he's muted. Hey, trust me. I went through the same issue yesterday. Teach can tell you all about it.
Yeah, you have to take yourself off of mute. Your microphone is muted. Take yourself off. Okay. Well, for sure, if we don't have technical
Oh, there we
difficulties,
go.
like we're
Oh,
not
there we
having
go. There we go.
Hello.
Hey.
yes, hear you. All right. Well, you're gonna have
Yes,
to
I'm
talk
back.
and
I'm
talk
back.
fast.
All right. All
Wow.
right.
Okay.
Cool.
So tell us about what's going on in the video.
I've been hustling with this.
I think there's a
About
delay.
the video.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Talk
video.
about the
Yes.
video. Talk about the video.
Hello.
Hey,
Yes. Can you hear us? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
um,
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, is like I said, is he's in a whole different country,
Okay.
and then also there's I know
Yes.
it's kind of a delay. I think
Oh
it's like
my God.
a 10-second
This
delay.
network is.
So let's go and do a test 1 2. Can you hear me? Can you hear us 1 2? I don't think you can hear us. Hello.
okay.
You can
Let
hear
me.
me.
But we can hear you, but I don't know if you can you hear us.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough bandwidth.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
Okay. I don't think he has enough bandwidth to do video, and audio.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you when you're talking.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear us.
Yeah. Okay. So I have
Okay.
a second little video.
Maybe to talk about the mirror. Basically, what I did was it was an imagination move. What was inside of me?
And he's gone. Okay.
God.
Show the second clip that I sent. This is still the same mural, but a different phase of the mural.
Okay.
And one of
The artist
that you may notice,
Joel, the beatboxer.
let me say, getting the children in the it was just 2 hours. And he's doing it so from beginning to end, it was rough. It was at 1 hour and 45 minutes. So keep it on the talk about him a little more. And this is how they engage the community, engage the students, the young people, to inspire them by putting a paintbrush in their hand. And some of the students or youth were as young as a year and a half, 2 years old, and they all participated. I don't have a clip of everything because I was trying to make short clips versus one long clip, but you can get an idea of his work ethic, his drive, his motivation, as well as the beauty of his art. So to take a bland wall and fill it with color that tells a story, that the children, as they grow up, can say, we were a part of this. We created this art. This is our imprint. This is our empowerment. This is us owning our living space and creating it and making it look beautiful. So, Joel, tell us if you can hear us. Just jump in. If you can hear us, just jump in because the internet is not that great. So if you can, just talk and we'll shut up.
And before you go, unmute yourself.
Yeah, you have to take yourself off of mute again. Okay, maybe he didn't hear us.
Well, but with that, Teach, we gonna we already at the top of the hour, so we gonna
I'm
go
back.
and
I'm back. Yes.
yeah. So just hold off real quick. We're about to go take a commercial break because we at the top of the hour,
Yeah.
and when we come back, we're gonna get back with questions and all that great stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back.
Yeah.
All right, and we are back. Hopefully everything is straight. But go ahead, Teach. You had a question that you want to ask him before we went to commercial break.
Yes, I wanted him to, just further expand upon what drives him or motivates him as an artist. Are you with us?
I think you got like a delay, I believe.
Okay. Well, this is a lesson for us in terms of type of equipment people need.
Yes,
to have.
I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
My network is getting better. Yeah.
Okay, we hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear
We,
you. So tell us about yourself. Tell us what motivates you as an artist.
I don't think he can hear us.
Nah, it looks like he's frozen again. So um, he's probably broadcasting from his phone.
I beg your
Let's
pardon, please.
Can you hear us?
tell us about yourself. Talk up. Tell us about yourself.
Yes, I can hear.
Yeah, he's delayed. Yeah.
So tell us about yourself. We need you to talk.
The
It's not working.
All
No,
right.
it's not working.
I can see you, I can hear you, but it comes late. I don't know what exactly to answer now.
Just tell us about yourself. Say what you want to say. Tell us how to buy your book. Okay,
Okay, let me
ladies
talk
and
about
gentlemen.
what I do and my business. So me,
Okay,
as for the video and the book I wrote, yes, yes, yes. As you saw the video and the book I wrote, everything I do comes out of just my imagination. Self-taught visual artist. Basically, I started when I was in an early age of around 5 to 4 years old. Used to skate and everything I could do was out of my imagination. So I never went to school for just to study art, but everything I do and everything I did was out of my self-taught art. And the book I wrote, it was out of my inspirations that I draw every day from the communities and the environments where I stay. And artists who inspire me, I used to copy from them some techniques and then I write down some little stuff. No one taught me how to write, no one taught me how to do anything. So it come out of just my thinking and passion. Then I did something like that. Mostly, if you look at my artist statement, it is what that drove my inspiration and my passion to write a book like that. That was my first edition. I'm looking at
And just like
oh,
that.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, all right.
I,
So,
I would finish up with that. I sent you a link for the African Roots and Heritage Foundation store page. If you could put that up, I would appreciate it. But if you're interested in buying his book, it's on sale for $50. And remember, this is a coffee um, table style book of art.
hmm.
And website that'll take you to his website that you can purchase this book. And actually, he was the first book that's in the African Roots and Heritage Foundation's Facebook store. So we're proud and glad to have him as a young, aspiring artist. And I thank you all for being patient with us with this technical difficulties. Like I said, he is calling in from Uganda, which is 8 hours ahead of us in terms of time. So he had to wake up in the middle of the morning to do this interview. So maybe the Uganda internet is saying we're not awake yet.
Yeah, basically. So I'm gonna pop him in, and hopefully it's a little bit better. Uh, once again, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I'm back. I can hear you very well. Only that the network.
Maybe if you turn off your video and just do audio, because it's a super lag and it takes less bandwidth if you just did the audio. Is that possible?
Let me see whether it's possible. But if you can hear me now, we can just flow. I don't know whether it's okay with you.
Okay, we'll
It's
flow.
getting better now. I see.
I need to bring that Ugandan energy. Bring that.
It seems better. It seems better. I mean, like the flow seems better. What he's saying, seems like we can hear him well. So go ahead, brother. I mean, yeah. My bad, my sister. He said he got the energy coming up. Is that what he's saying? I love it. I love it. I love it. We can hear you though. We can hear you, my brother. Good. We can hear you. Is it him? Is he talking right now?
No, he's. I think it's still a lag.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's a lag though.
You wanted to know what I do and what drives me to do it.
Yes.
Yes. What drives me to do whatever I do, it comes out of me. It comes out of my soul. It comes out of my imagination. Then I just find myself flowing in the line that my passion is directing me to flow. As I was telling you only that the network was not good, I was trying to tell you that everything I do is not taught from school, but a self-taught like touch. Everything I write, everything I do, like it is self-taught. Like right away from the young age up to where I am. So to write a book about using art as a solution, I chose using art as a solution in the society because I believe art goes deeper than words. Art goes deeper than any other action or any other activity that we know. So it goes deeper into our souls and can solve so many issues of mankind, both emotional, spiritual, and by the way, even financial. Yes.
Okay. I got a question for you. So here's my question for you. How much of an impact have you done for your community? As you have, looking at the videos, it seemed like you are impacting the community, but how much of an impact has it done to let's say a troubled youth for not joining gangs or doing drugs? How much of that you have impacted in your community with what you're doing?
Well, I may not, I may not directly tell the exact percentage of the people have changed, but I can tell a number of young people. Most of them, when they come to me, they think I'm a drug addict because of the way how I dress, because of the jewelry I put on my, because of the kind of art I do, the street art. Mostly I find them in the refugee camps where I go. So they listen to my story, they listen to what I do, and they see what I do because my art is so wild in that I run very fast and my creativity is so high. So they think my brain to work very fast like that, I use drugs. But at the end of the day, when I tell them that I don't use anything, they go out of my sight when they are inspired, and I receive testimonies of them trying to change. Of course, it does not directly happen when someone is impacted. It takes a lot of time for someone to change from a behavior. But I received testimonies telling me that that day you spoke to me about you not using drugs and then you are talented at the same time. It changed my life. So I really think I have caused an impact in the lives of young people.
Yes, yes.
That's great. That's great to hear. Let me see. Teacher already asked my first question, so that was my other one that I wanted to ask. So how far have your work taken you? That goes beyond Uganda. Have you gotten gigs outside of like let's say Ghana or even outside the continent?
Yeah, by the way, my first opportunity to move out of Uganda and Africa, I went to India for an art camp. They were celebrating the life of Mahatma Gandhi, who fought for the freedom of India. The reason as to why they chose Africans and Indians is because Mahatma Gandhi was once taken to exile in South Africa. So they wanted to get to use the culture of India and Africa, fusing together and celebrate the life of Mahatma Gandhi. So they went on choosing artists in Africa, and I was given a chance to travel to India to represent Africa and Uganda. I was among the artists. They chose 10 artists. When I went there, I represented, and everyone I went with was a graduate from university, and they are professionals compared to me. They asked me a question why I'm doing such work, which is almost the same like theirs. I told them I didn't go to school, and they were surprised. They were like, "We thought you went to university and you graduated out of art." I was like, "No, no, no, no. I never went to university. I'm a self-taught artist. So I use art to do my work." So that was the first opportunity to go to India, and my work was exhibited in the Global Art Festival that happened in the Gujarati state, that is Saputara, India. The next opportunity, I went with the Teaching Artist Institute to Tanzania and Zanzibar, again the same work, art and inspiring. I went with Mama Anita. Yes, she remembers very well the journey. So we did a lot of work, and then, yeah, those are the opportunities I've got as for now.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I think it's crazy that you self-taught yourself all these things. Like I believe that everybody has the ability to, do whatever they put their mind to, but there is a select few in society. I won't say society, but in humankind in general, where you have people that literally teach themselves, things that you probably nowadays you would tell you to go to school for, and you literally taught yourself. So when you tell that story, when you tell them that you learned this all on your own, what is the biggest reaction? Like, was like of all reactions that you already know they're gonna read? How can I put it? What is the same reaction you get when they find out that you learned all this on your own?
Oh my goodness, I don't know how I can answer that, but each and every day I discover something new in me. I never knew that I could write. I never knew. I never knew that I could do some techniques. And what is so unique about me is that, and something interesting about me is, I just look at something once and I do it next day. I just do it next day. I used to hate writing and reading. But one day they told me that you cannot go anywhere in this world when you don't know how to write and read. I was like, okay, I think I need to push myself further to do this. When I pushed further, I just wrote a book. So I don't know how I can answer your question, but I keep on discovering myself and every day.
Well, tell us
Well,
about the concept of Moonzy. You were the one to introduce that word to me. So tell us the language that it comes from and what does it mean?
Beg your pardon?
Moonzy. Tell us the language it comes from and what does it mean?
Munze. Well, Munze is a Luganda word. It is a Luganda word meaning within me. Luganda is the most local language used in central Uganda. I'm not a Muganda, but I grew up in Uganda, in Buganda. I come from western side of Uganda. For us, we speak Lutoro, but I grew up in central Uganda, where Kampala, capital city, is. So I chose to follow that word Munze because Munze means a lot to me. Actually, it came like a dream. I was with a friend of mine. By that time, I had a lot of problems and I had a lot of issues with my life. I was chased out of the house and I was looking for a place where to stay. So my friend had to host me because I couldn't manage rent and I had to stay in his house for some time. So through that hard time, I had this vision to come to me to do something with artists and display their work and sell. So this vision, when it came to me, my friend told me, find a name that you can name that activity that you want to do. I thought of so many names and I wrote them down. He told me, go back and think. When I slept, that is when that word came to me. It came to me like a dream, Munze. So I wrote it down. When I gave it to him, he was like, I think this word can go with you. Munze, Munze, Munze came to me, like writing it down. I kept on asking myself, what does it mean? Munze. I thought it is just a word, but it is something that is moving all over the continent and all over the universe. Because each and every human being has Munze. Munze is within. Munze is a word that means within. So yourself, you have something that is within you that causes you to do what you are doing. Even himself, the gentleman, he has something within him that is causing him to do. Even the animals themselves, there is a soul, there is a movement, there is something, there is a force that is cycling. There is something vibrating in you that you don't know. There is something that is moving in different directions in your life that is keeping on telling you do this, do that, either good or bad, is within you. It is all about you to control your Munze. It is all about you to control that motion, that movement, that force, that thrust, that vibration, that quake that is in you to move out and then cause impact in life. All the terrorists that you see, all the leaders that you see, all the politicians that you see in this world, there is a Munze in them that is forcing them to do what they are supposed to do. It came to me like that.
That's wonderful. Ever since you shared that word with me, I utilized it, and I believe that's the driving force of your art. Um, and that's a beautiful story. That's a beautiful story. Beautiful story of actually it tells of how you're communicating with God, with Source, with the universe, and how the universe, God, Source, is communicating with you. Mumsy. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, my brother, that stuff right there, you probably pick up a whole, and I'm coming from a joking side now. You probably pick up a whole lot of babes using that kind of like that kind of language out here.
Oh
like,
man.
that's something new. That's the French stuff, man. That's that good stuff. But no, I appreciate your story, man. It's good stuff. You know, that's some good stuff.
Look at that smile.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You welcome.
Right.
Yes, sir. But yeah,
Well,
go ahead. Sorry.
no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying again, it's a beautiful story. I mean, there's nothing like being able to like pull yourself up and like I can't help but to use politics, but the Republicans always want to tell people to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, and it's so hard to do. But there's some people who are doing it because they don't have a choice. You know what I mean? And they feel like and they find ways to get it done. So and it takes a lot of drive, a lot of will power. It takes a lot to be able to make those moves and get up and do it. And I so much appreciate you teaching yourself how to make a lot happen, and you being an inspiration to other young men and women around your area. So beautiful thing.
Yeah, and then also this is a lot of things come out of Africa. Art is one of them. But seeing this type of art that is actually contributing a lot in the community, to me, says a lot. And that you have the youth as well doing it too as well. And for your gift of just like, 1 minute you hate it, but then the next day you do it and it becomes a work of art. That's a lot of people can't say that because usually it's like, hey Morris, you gonna have a coconut. I can't stand coconuts. But with your motivation and with your demeanor, I will say no to coconut 1 minute, but then the next day I'm tearing up coconut. I mean coconut like it's apples. And for that, you should also take a bow too, sir.
Absolutely. I believe Moonsy came in and resolved our technical difficulties.
Yeah, no.
Because once we got on the roll, we haven't had any more disturbances. And Joel, I thank you for waking up in the middle of the morning and coming and sharing with us your art, your skill, your talent. Because remember what I said, it's not for you, but it's for us to be ingratiated by the gifts and talents that God has given you. To heal us, to cause us to think, to cause us to meditate, to cause us to reflect, to cause us to move, to put us into action, to cause us to change. That is art for social transformation.
And how many hour difference is the time difference, by the way? I know it was said earlier.
7 hours. 7
Wow.
hours ahead of
Woo.
us.
That's a
And
lot.
and then also for you to get up in the middle of the morning and to have this show, that says a lot too as well, including with your internet issues. Like I said, don't worry. I had the same issues yesterday because I was barely on. So I understand exactly what you're going through right now. So, but once again, thank you for being a part of the show, and we don't want to hold you up for any more sleep. But just like anybody else that comes on this show, become a guest, the invitation is always open. You can come on this show at any time. You can promote your book, promote your movie, or whatever. The door is always open.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, we be on the road. Hopefully, I ain't losing again.
I think he hears.
Yeah. Hopefully, but dang it. I think. Hey, I guess the bus ran out of gas. Good grief, man. But ladies and gentlemen, this will make hashtag Fade to Black its own. This is where we come to our own because even with things like this, I'm not even gonna lie. I've seen shows where they had this issue and they're like, pop him or her. We're just going to continue on the show. We don't do that here.
Well,
You know, people have issues. People have problems. Even if we had all of our ducks in a row, there's going to be a snag. And we're just not going to leave anybody high and dry. You know, we're going to work with them and get the show going. As y'all can see, you know, in the middle of the show, he answered the questions. He was, you know, explaining and all that stuff. So for anybody else who want to be a future guest on this show, just know that we do not put a spotlight on you. And just because you have technical difficulties, we're just going to take it off, spotlight off you, and just leave you out in the wind. We don't do that here. So I just want to throw that out there. But
well, if anybody needs a spotlight right now, it's probably me. But, you know, I want to let people know the last 3 shows or 4 shows or so, yeah, I've been sitting dark. I got some glitches in my electrical.
yeah,
so, you know, so
Yeah.
I don't go be like, where he at? You know, like he always do that, you know. So sometimes I use my phone to keep the light on in my face and stuff so people can see my face. But nah, it's my studio here. I'm doing some work on the electrical over here, and it's just taking so long. But hopefully, folks can see the fact that I'm still here and still loving the conversation.
Well, I see that his mic is still on. Hopefully, you heard all the things that I said. But once again, I thank you for being on the show. Invitation is always open.
Okay.
I saw a little bit of movement. So we don't, like I say, we don't want to take away too much of your sleeping time. So we just going to let you go. And once again, thank you. And then also, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to get his book, The Art, A Solution. And we're going to be showing that also as the show progresses into the last part. But
Peace and blessings, brother.
Mhm.
No, I was just hey, thanks for coming out, brother. Like I'm gonna join the announcement. Thanks for coming out. We really appreciate the story. It's inspiring to know that with all the resources that we have over here, and some around the world that folks that might have maybe the less resources and a whole lot of other issues might still be able to persevere through all that and get stuff done more than some people are doing over here with more resources. So pat yourself on the back. I appreciate you, brother. Keep on being cool with with your language and all that. You know, I love when he said that. I like, I know I need to learn how to say that so I can go out and use that with some babes out here. Like Sister Anita, you got teach me what I was talking about.
Well, you got successful business. You good. You got successful businesses.
Today, that's not enough anymore today with them sisters. And I don't let me get started about that.
Speaking of that,
Searching
Go
for
ahead.
pickup lines.
and with that being
That would only appeal to what they call saposexuals, those that get turned on by the intellect.
Oh, I guess.
By the intellect, this just gonna go right over their head.
Over there.
And speaking of that, we're gonna go take a commercial break and we will be right back. And then we're gonna be going into the segments. ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. He's still here. I want him to get some parting words before he head on out. Hopefully, he can still hear us. Hello? We can see
Joel,
you.
do you have any closing thoughts? Your last thoughts?
Like I said, the bus ran out of gas. I thought we were sputtering just a little bit.
You silly.
He's
Yeah.
saying that the internet.
Oh.
Oh, he said something. He said something.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. Say a good. You can say a good evening to us, man.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I just don't want him to
Maybe put
like
him
I said.
asking one. Ask him
Yeah.
if he has any.
Yes.
If he has any.
Yeah. We want you. We just didn't want to just leave without you not saying your last words before you head on out. So once again, like I said, invitation is open. Thank you so much for being on the show. I think I realized every time I say something, it's just like issues arise. Like, dang it.
I don't know if it's transfers. I don't know. Maybe you should get some save.
Yeah, I think I just shared that flu with him with the internet that I was having. I apologize.
Okay. Well,
All right.
this little stay.
So,
My
here we go.
my signal is so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just beg your pardon.
Okay. I think he was saying his signal was bad or something like that.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah. So we just have to keep moving.
Yeah. So once again, thank you for being a part of the show. Like I said, invitation is open at any time. Thank you so very very much.
Okay.
So with that being said, so let's go ahead and shift gears. So me and Teach was kind of talking about the Black agenda, and I gave one of my ideas out, and Teach, you kind of gave your little this, I won't say description, but your view on it when I said investigate current Black organizations like the United Negro Fund, the NAACP, and including government representatives. And I think
Did
investigate
investigate
is
them, or you mean like you to give them money?
no,
Invest in them or
no.
investigate them?
No. I think using investigate is kind of like, oh, whoa, like you really want to bet? No, but to understand how are they pushing our agenda rather than just collecting money and going to high profile cases, knowing that there's other cases like smaller cases that can go a long way too as well. Where not like we just want to know what are you actually using the funds for? Are you actually pushing out our agendas, or are you just looking for like the big fish? So that was one of my and then also government officials too as well. And that was one of my ideas for the a list, because I came up with my own list for the Black agenda. So that was my first one. I would take the word investigate out. It'd be more of like kind of like a check and balance.
Well, just reading their report. Just I would say, a summary of what they've done for the last year, last 5 years. But investigate is a strong, hard word. To know their stance in terms of activism, to know their stance concerning current issues, and whether or not those current issues are relevant to their current mission statement. So, if anything, we will look at their mission statement and look at how they're lining up with their mission statement. Because some organizations only operate through that mission statement. If it's outside of that mission, it's none of their business, or it's not. It's beyond their scope of expertise.
What about you, Bam?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think investigation is a strong word. You know, J. Edgar Hoover started with an investigation. We ended up with three black leaders dead. And then FBI started with an investigation. The Black Panthers movement was shot down in between Chicago and Oakland. So I mean, so yeah, they we certainly don't want to use that word, because that's what they've always used to attack anything that we got that's going good. So but I think I get what you guys are saying here. That we should kind of like do like a little audit or review on some of our organizations that are supposed to be doing work for us, to see how good or how efficient they're doing at the job that they're supposed to be doing for us, because it's not showing up. I'm assuming that's what you guys are talking about. 'Cause I mean, I kind of got
I think
No.
that's all. Oh, but this is from my list. This is the list that I
Right. So I would think that probably like an audit would be good.
Yeah.
And I want to put something on the positive end, of course, like if the people that I think we should audit the most will be our black elected officials. All the sold out Negroes, Negropeans that we got in the office. They act like they're Europeans, but they forget about our community. So those are the ones that I think that I would audit. We should do individual audit on political audit on our elected officials. I'm gonna start using that now. I just thought about it. Political audit on our black elected officials. And put new ones in if we have to train new ones and send them in. And try to get us to something. That's what I would. From a standpoint of what the government can do for us, though, I've always felt like our reparations is we can't get our 40 acres in the middle today. I don't think we will actually get it or can get it. I think the way we can get it is through education and through travel. I think that we should give a voucher to every African American to travel to Africa for preference to Africa, but somewhere outside the country for a week and come back. That experience is a experience that can make a life change, and give them a room, board, and everything. I mean, that means the same thing. Room and travel. For a week. And have them come back, or have the option of coming back at least. And also free education.
I don't know. I'm kind of afraid of those free trips. That's what they want.
What is that?
Room and board, meal.
What is that?
I said that's what they offered the Africans to get over here: room and board and meal, a free trip.
Right.
I gotta. I'm not gonna mention all of the list, so I'm gonna save it for another show. So I'm just gonna say a few. Then my other one, I got started coalition with Black officials, business owners, local organizers to push Black businesses in the communities. Meaning, hold up, I got a message. Sorry about that.
I guess
yeah. So I'm going ahead and read it again. So basically, start coalition, have the Black officials of that local community, have all the local Black owners, also have the local organizers. If we talking about people that's grassroots, all come together and bring in Black businesses, because definitely here in Seattle, they gentrifying everything. Like they say, when it's a Whole Foods that comes in the community, you might as well start packing your stuff. So, because your rent's gonna be higher, the cost of living probably gonna go up by another $5,000, maybe $2,000, depending on where you live. Up here in Seattle, it goes up about another freaking 5Gs, maybe even more than that. I'm probably being generous by saying that because we got Google, we got Microsoft up here. So we need to have that same vote, like that same type of energy and strategies when it comes to our communities as well. Like bringing in black banks, bringing in black supermarkets, bringing in black dealerships. So if we create a coalition within the black community to do those things, we can have sway and the say in what we do in our community, and then we have other communities like ours. I'm speaking into existence, like ours, do the same thing as well, and then we can all network. So, what y'all think about that?
That's already in action in small pockets. There's an individual here that lives in Detroit that is Nigerian descent, and Mail actually introduced me to him, a Kendale, and he is part of the Nigerian community that is, how could I say it? I want to give a positive word, but the Nigerian community has gone into one of the suburbs of Detroit in the city, and they have put people in strategic places on the city council, on the board, on various boards that run that city. They're buying up residential property as well as commercial property. So that's being done already. But I think for me, knowing these people and knowing knowing the history of the city of Inkster or village of Inkster, knowing that it's a good possibility that if you have that collective mindset as to what you can do. And yes, it's feasible, it's possible, it's doable. When Seepaway was on the show, I used to talk about, that 2 square miles. And I believe that's how big Inkster is. It's not really a big city, but it is big enough for a group of people to go and begin to take advantage of opportunities that present themselves there in terms of residing there and owning it as their neighborhood, and then also engaging in business there.
Mm-hmm. And see, and reason why I put that in was because of the inspiration from your area, Teach, and because not every community, including here, is not doing that. See, if they will use the blueprint that is going on in your community, and if you spread that out to everybody else in the country, we would have like some backup to our buying power, with our communities and pushing our issues, our solutions forward. And that was also the big inspiration. All right, now here's this one. Now this one I had to work on for a little bit, so bear with me. So the next one is create our own government, a community dependent on our resources, an investment tax. I call it the investment tax to pay to a community fund. Depending on the person's financial status, a set amount must be given or what they can. So here's the example. So let's say if somebody makes 31,000 a year, the set amount be $10 to $500 that they would contribute on a monthly basis. For people who make $105,000 a year, their set amount is 1,000 to 5,000. To people that makes 1.5 million a year, their set amount is 10,000 to 25,000. So this will be funded into an account. Let me see. I got another part to this. Hold on. All right. So all the funding will go to this fund, and they're going to be set off into different pots, as we say in the reserves. Like, for example, you got one pot. The money can go to this pot for school program, after school programs. Then the next pot is for like the business coalitions. And then the next pot is for local contracts, cutting grass, contractors want to work on the roads. And then another pot can be for a new project. Every decision is going to be voted on by a committee and also by the community. So when a new project or a new idea or where else we're going to put the funding, obviously it's going to be in a town hall meeting setting. People are going to give their suggestions on do they agree with it or they don't. Let's add this provision in it. Let's take this provision out. And the committee, I have not figured out how many will be on the committee. So let's say like 5. The committee are elected officials that are voted in by the people. And they will not be the end all be all, like a 3, to 1, that everybody will vote. And that includes the community itself. So, but majority rules, it will go. If the nays outnumber the, basically, if the yays outnumber the noes, then it goes through. And if the nays outnumber the yays, then it won't go. And those elected officials are the ones that see to it that the funding goes to where it needs to be and also do the budgeting. And then I also looked this up too, and Mayo and Teach, y'all can also correct me if I'm wrong. So also the good thing about this fund is people who contribute to it will be tax exempt. And that's under the code 51C3, which is other.
What are you in Wakanda? What is this?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
This is one of my ideas. This is one of my ideas.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you talking about? Vibranium? What is Wakanda? What are you talking about?
Hey, this is my idea. I brought up.
You said this is gonna go in America, right? That's what you're talking about. All the stuff you're talking about.
I'm talking about our own community. Yeah.
Oh Lord have mercy, man. Y'all don't know what to tonight. Now, on the real, if we had to had a secession from the United States, this stuff sounds like kind of cool. And they also, I forgot what this thing is. That thing is called something where a community can tax himself as an additional tax, but to tell people to tell the IRS and the Department of Treasury that we're gonna withhold taxes from them, they're gonna be like, what? Whoa.
Hey,
that's what you really want to make
it's worth a try. It's worth a try.
Okay.
It's worth a try.
I let
See, I'm gonna tell you what I hear. I hear a mixture of sleepaways plan.
Oh,
he had a plan similar to that?
Oh, well, he had a dynamic plan. His plan even included it was modeled, a piece of it was modeled after the Native American Act in the reservations, and basically he wanted African Americans to get their own land and the government give them their own land, like the Native Americans had their lands in the reservation. And but I used to assert or intervene and say that according to United States law, local law, that if you have 2 square miles and you get, I think it was 150 people, you can incorporate as a village, a town, or whatever have you, and it's based upon the number of people, and you can build your own laws for that municipality.
What?
And so
that's good information, though. That's good information. It takes 300 people to start a credit union too.
Right. So I mean, those type of things. So yes, it's feasible. If you get 2 square miles and you develop it and get 150 residents or 300 residents, first you got your own little city, town, village.
But
Then 200-300, you have your own bank.
What?
So it's very feasible. It can be done.
You right. You
Uh,
right.
but to take over or dismantle this government, that's treason.
Why?
That you
They
can
gonna
work within
they
it.
gonna do you what they did Snowden. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good idea.
Right.
But you always want to stay away from secession. You always want to stay away from that because that's treason.
What?
United States of America is incorporated as a business, and we're operating as the number one business model in the world. Whether it works or not, well,
Yeah.
but
But
uh,
but look, Teach. But look, man.
Yeah.
so
Wow.
See where I love you. I love you. See where I just had to do it.
yeah,
That's
so
it.
so
That's
so,
it right there. That's how it be
so
like.
you're offering the free boat ride, which is a red flag. Um, live on a reservation, which is a red flag. social social isolation from the rest of the world, red flag. Those are things that black people don't go for.
You know what's crazy is like we laugh about these things, but these things are actually doable if we actually set plan. There's enough people
Yeah.
that believe that they're Afrocentric or they are like like super like the whole black movement. We have the like woke folks, different levels of woke. I mean, sure, I think I'm woke to some level too. But everybody got their own little level of woke, whatever. And if we can just put all this, I mean, not put them, but if they can all agree to go to the same location, buy land that's big enough. There's a lot of land in America, man. I mean, flying around. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all, I take the window. I will fight a kid for the window seats. When I get in the plane, I'm telling you, I love looking down. All I can see is land sometimes, and I'm like, all this land. You mean we can buy? Like you just said about like a certain amount of area that we can call ourselves. And I've been to small towns. I know like they had two street lights and all that. We can get land that can get enough to get 5, 6 street lights, and build our own cities and build out from there. We can
Mhm.
do this. It's just folks just like like they said like something to be said and not done. Cause I'm waiting for that cost. Might be like, man, you got $5,000. We throw in the pot. We're gonna go buy land. We got 100 people that we're gonna get $50,000 buy land. Whatever. I don't know what the amount would be to buy, and we're gonna start building over there. I'm ready. I mean, I'm like, I don't mind having a dual residence in Ohio and in Mississippi or whatever, because I think I hear about Mississippi a lot, or whatever one of those southern state that has land. I'm ready. Anybody that's hearing me, call me. Let me know that when I'm ready to fly and go look at the land, and I put my money in the pot. But it seems like a lot of us are talkers and not doers. Then you got to deal with the motherfucking. I'm about to cuss again. You got to deal with the Negro peons out there who are like, oh, how dare you talk about,
Yeah.
actually, what am I gonna do with me and my job, in the corporate world? You know what I mean?
Right. I got you.
Those are things to be considered. And then when you look at pre 1964, African Americans had their own businesses, hotels, taxi chains, transportation, and so forth and so on. And even if you had your eyes open, the Chinese, they have the Chinese bus that many people don't know about, but it runs, from Columbus to New York to Chicago to Detroit, and black people are learning about it, but it's mostly the immigrant population that's coming in and putting in transportation systems or other systems that demonstrate unity and answer a need. And the need is, straight through to New York without stopping 100 times like they do on Greyhound, which takes 17 hours. The Chinese bus would take 10 hours. So they figured out a way to circumvent the Greyhound, charge probably half as much, and get there in less amount of time. So with that example, and then with the example of the Nigerians in Inkster, And I'm quite sure there's other spots. I just seen a thing saying that Nigerians don't want to go to Atlanta because they like overtaken Atlanta, and so when they come visit, they don't announce that they're in town because something about Atlanta. But anyway, we had
So,
these.
you saying there's a lot of Nigerians in Inkster? You saying there's a lot of Nigerians in Inkster? I mean, I know Akinde is over there, but
Yes,
I didn't know that. I mean, I know he's talked to me about buying some land over there. I don't mind, and I really want to go invest in Inkster. I've been there. I've seen the void of development over there. I want to go develop over there, as a
yes.
developer. So I do need to talk to him, and maybe talk to you, and whoever can let me in the sense of how to get.
Yeah,
Um,
even I say within the last year there was a YouTube video of a man saying some of the worst places to move in Michigan, and they said Inkster, and I tuned in because I knew what was going on, from a Kindle's end, and I listened to them. And the very reason why they say you don't want to move to Inkster is because the Nigerians have come in and taken over all the
really, I
businesses.
didn't know that.
Oh
That's pretty cool.
wow.
I
Yes,
didn't know that.
yes,
Wow.
yes. And I said, wow, so that's the reason they're telling white folks, basically, it was like, white folks, don't go to Inkster because we're not in Inkster anymore. The Nigerians have taken over Inkster. So,
Wow, that's good to know.
so it's bigger than what I initially thought when I heard a Kindle talk about it that time when you arranged that meeting. So, yeah, they're saying, yeah, Nigerians have taken over Inkster.
Oh
So,
wow.
in that same vein, what I do like about the immigrant population is that they have a purpose, they have a plan. So they're away from their homeland and they're far away from home and they have to make it work. And I think that gives them somewhat of a competitive edge
I
over
don't
homegrown Africans when
I
it
don't
comes
mean
to being a visionary and working together.
But I don't mean to be philosopher by the like I got a cussing tongue tonight. I don't mean to be a philosopher by the minute or by the um sleeve of my clothing, but I think that what makes that happen most of the time is the ability to live in a different land where you've never had anything but black folks being together, and that's what you know, and you've never had, you've only known to be around each other. You've only known to, as much as each other might make you get on each other's, it might, as long as you might get on each other's nerve, all you've known is each other. All you've known as leaders is each other. You've not seen a mindset where where your first black president was one, and one that had to, I don't want to say, he didn't sell out, but one that had to kind of play like downplay his blackness or whatever. So so I think that that's some of the things that that makes it to the point where people are more driven. It looks like it similarly looks like they're more driven, or they're more together and all that kind of stuff. It's just what they're used to. They're used to having to deal with each other. And opposed to over here, where most of us feel like, well, not us, but some of us feel like, I don't want to deal with no black folks. I got to deal with the white folks because the ice is cooler. What I mean, that mindset might not be with someone who has not had too many options like that. And when they first get here, they might feel like that because all they ever seen white folks at was on TV and all that. So they might feel like that initially. But the moment when they realize that, hey, we all got the same rights, at that point, their mind is walking like, how can I be like, these folks and actually have my caucus or my group of people together. So I think it's a psychological thing, and it's a philosophical thing that we can kind of start working on as our community to try to start working together with this the newer African American community, and that's why again I think that the way we can ever be greater again as a black race together is if we work together, not by like walking in silos. Well, I think we walk in silos too much. The Haitians are doing this, the Jamaicans are doing it, the Africans are doing it, and it's like there's just so much divisions between us. If we think to work together, that mindset would kind of flow through, back and forth. Because right now it seems like everybody's just following the Western culture. Nobody's following anything else but the Western culture. And somewhere, We need to make people realize that we have a beautiful culture too as African people, and see if we, and that's one of the things I love about what Sister Anita does, and what and trying to shine some light to some of those beautiful African culture, so that people can follow that, and through that, people might see the value in just loving each other, working with each other, and not being so hesitant to work with each other.
Yeah.
And
I
speaking
think
of that, you go and teach real quick.
I think what you said is absolutely right. And what you said is really the basis of why we did the African Roots and Heritage Festival, is because in Columbus, the Kenyans lived over there, the Ghanaians lived over there, the
Right.
Nigerians lived over there, and we're all in one big city. And for me to see so many different Africans in one place, but still separated,
Right.
and people do gravitate towards what they're used to. And the purpose of the festival was to bring together these cultures so we can share culture, so we can learn from one another and strengthen one another um, from the aspect of culture. Um, but what we see here, because of racism, because of white supremacy, a lot of psychological damage to the self esteem of the African American, where we mistrust one another, we don't believe in one another, we don't trust one another, we will take a white man's word over a black man's word. We'll take a white woman's craft over a black woman's craft, and it may be the black woman that created the craft, but they'll pay the white woman more for the craft that the black woman created for the white woman. She go and buy from the black woman, but they won't buy from the black woman, they'll buy from the white woman, paying her more money. That is all in our psyche, where we are sick. And we have to really reprogram ourselves to believe in ourselves, to trust in ourselves, to negotiate with ourselves um, the best outcome. We had, before desegregation, we had black businesses. You didn't have to say buy black and give back, because that was the only way you could buy. If you wanted to go to a restaurant or get some food outside of your home, you were going to a black kitchen. If you wanted to get gas, they had what was called the Green Book that would tell you where you can stop and get gas along the way. And these were black owned, what they called back in the day, filling stations.
Mm.
If you wanted to stay at a hotel or a guest house, these were black owned proprietors that had extra rooms that they rented out to specifically black people. You did not have to tell us. But now, because we're in a quote unquote a post racial society, we were made to feel bad that we shopped with ourselves. We were made to feel bad that if I went to Donnell's guest house, somehow I was less than, even though, he gave me his best. It was clean, the food was good. But now that I can go to the Hyatt, where would I, becomes a prestigious thing. Oh, I can go to the Hyatt. I don't have to go and give my money to Donnell because Donnell is getting rich off of me. Well, what the hell you think the Hyatt is doing?
Yeah, it's teach. I'm gonna get in on this a little bit, and then we're gonna go to the commercial break, and then we're gonna get into the segments. But you hit on a real big point, because I know this is a reality show, but it hit me hard. It was a reunion show for the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Ah, that's my show. Go ahead.
And I remember it was Phaedra talking to, what's her name? Bailey, or something like that. I think her name coming.
Dang, Cynthia
The,
Bailey.
yeah, Cynthia Bailey. And I remember they still got tiff against each other. And she made fun of Cynthia because she's a model, and made fun of her because she was in a plus size magazine. So then Cynthia bashed back at her, like, what magazines are you in? And she's like, well, I'm in, I think she said she was in Forbes and all that stuff. And then Phaedra had the nerve to say, well, I'm paraphrasing, I'm going by what I remember. Then she was like, well, you in those bougie ones, those Jet and all that stuff. I'm in the Forbes and what's the other big time magazines? I know it's Forbes and God dang, there's another.
I don't know why she would be in the Forbes. She's not like that.
Well, it was close to a magazine like that, but she was saying those magazines and then was criticizing Cynthia for being in, I guess, majority of black, in black magazines and, you know, big body magazines. But she's like, go ahead and do your thing. I was like, whoa. I'm like, what's wrong with being in a black owned magazine? What's the issue with that? What's the problem with that? Yeah, and when you said that, that took me to that, but then it also took me to other times where I actually, and I'm at fault at this, like you said, it's a thing that's been programmed in our mind subconsciously, where I forgot what it was. I think it was like a restaurant or something. Rather than go to that black restaurant, I went to the other one that was white owned. And I think it was my mama that actually got on me. And she was like, why'd you go to that one? When we was right there next, and we was Teach and Mayo. I was right there we walking down the street. It's right there. And I was like, she asked me what you want to eat. I forgot what it was, and I said, I want to eat over there. And the place that was serving the same exact stuff was right there next to us. We could have just turned and walked in. But I want to go to the one across the street. And I think it was a carnival that was happening. We went over there, we got something to eat, but she got mad at me. As a kid, I didn't understand. But now I understand. I was like, man, only if I knew better.
The most beautiful thing is that she told you as a young kid,
Yeah. And so now when I go to establishments, that's the first thing I look out for. I was like, let me see if this is a black owned. Like, there's a place up here called the June Baby. This brother is from Louisiana. He's a highly awarded chef, and he owns that restaurant up here. You wouldn't even know that was a black establishment because everybody that ate up in there was white. It was only one. It was me and my girl. It was me and my girlfriend, and then it was 2 and 3 other black people that was there. And I could tell that they came up here plenty of times, but that place was packed. And half of his staff was very mixed. So you had blacks, you had whites, you had Mexicans, you even have Filipinos. And my girlfriend, she was the one that told me a brother owns this, a black guy owns this restaurant. And I was like, really? I said, by going there, you wouldn't even tell. And I guarantee you, majority of those white folks, including the 1 or 2 black couple that was up in there, if I would have told them that this guy was the guy who owns the establishment was black, they probably wouldn't even know. And his restaurant is actually in a pretty nice area, but not suburban. I mean, because each county here got its own, type of flavor, if that makes sense. His restaurant was like in the middle of like a downtown, and it's small too. So you had to like put your reservations like early because even the girl was like, y'all lucky to get y'all reservations in because we're sold out. We're booked for the night, like literally. Because I remember 2 couples that was trying to go up in there like table for 2, and it was like, well, we're booked. We're fully booked. And it just made me feel good to know that I'm supporting the brother and, supporting his restaurants and supporting his establishment. And then I went to other black restaurants. Like, I really was excited. I was like, bro, this your establishment? And he was like, yeah. I said, hey, come here. Look, I got to take a picture of you. I even got his card, and I want to get him on the show, too, as well. And not to mention, he's from Louisiana, too. So, and the crazy thing is, other than June Baby, this brother, not only he has a restaurant, he also got a store that's combined with it. and his chicken is the talk of the town. His chicken is so good,
Mm.
but he got to do something about that Saints stuff. I'm like, hey man, you need to take this Saints stuff down. You need to put some Cowboy stuff up here. I'm sick of tired seeing all the Saints and all that stuff. Take that stuff down. He almost kicked me out. He said, I almost put you on the ban list, never coming up to the establishment no more, but I like it. But I rambled on too much. But let's go ahead and get ready for these segments after the commercial break. We're going to travel to Africa, and then after that, we're going to get some drinks and enjoy some blues as we go to Mayo's Lounge. And with that, we'll be right back.
Good evening. Look at my background. You know where that is? That is the Serengeti. So, Tanzania. Again, I want to invite you to participate in the Summer Learning Institute in Bagamoyo, Tanzania at the Kasuga University. And I had queued a video, Donnell, showing some of the wildlife. Do you see it? Okay. All right. So we were in the Serengeti at this time, and we were able to see some of the wildlife, from the hippopotamus to the giraffe, the monkeys, the hyenas, the lions. So, I guess, I don't know if I'm having difficulty or you all are having difficulty, but anyway, if you get a chance to come with Thai Tours, these are some of the places that you'll be able to go into the Serengeti. We've actually witnessed the migration of the wildebeest, and we learned about the habits of the wildebeest and the zebras, how the zebras follow the wildebeest because they don't have a good memory. So they follow the wildebeest to get back to their original homing spot. So let's see here. I think Danielle needs to, I don't know. Anyway, it seems like the audio is playing, but the video isn't playing. All right. But anyway, I don't want to belabor. I did want you all to see these wonderful animals in their natural habitat. But nevertheless, Tanzania, June 7th through the 21st. And if you can't make that trip, they have another trip going in October. So there's 2 opportunities for you to go and experience some of the world's greatest gems in Tanzania. And with that, that is the end of my segment on the African Roots and Heritage Study Tours.
Man, I love the way we come in. I love it. I love it. So, anyways, that's for tonight. you know, that gets me going. It makes me think about like so much of the struggles that we dealt with as a people. Because I love the old stories of the old South, and but just I think about when Sam Cooke and them was singing and writing this song, the struggle that people have been through. It's real struggle. It's more than we can ever imagine. But they found ways that a voice can carry and carry years and years later on. So I mean, so when I'm in my soul mood, I just love to listen to this, and it gets me going. So I've always said as a producer, someday I want to do like a little like a move a short film that can show uh, depict the feeling and the moods of this times, and to let us know that we need to appreciate where we're from, not only from just saying that we appreciate it, not only from just talking about it. We need to be about it. We need to know that we can do something greater than we've ever thought we can. We can do something greater than we're doing right now. We can work together. We can build a Black Wall Street again. We can do all those things again. We can be the next Sam Cooke of that. I mean, which we have also we have Kelly, or we have Michael Jackson. We have they've done stuff that he's done, but we got multiple in one time. So I just want to make sure that people know out there today, make those moves, Call somebody and become a business partner. Find a mentee, find a mentor. Make somebody's life better today. Pull somebody from our community and put a lot of love into them. Put a lot of soul into them. I love what Sam Cooke yell out when they singing. But so that that's my thing. Hopefully you guys get it today. Sam Cooke, touch on the hem of his garments. I mean, it's a biblical type and a spiritual gospel song, but just the soul that Sam has into that song, it gets me going. One of my favorite songs of all time. I can listen to that and I can feel like I'm right there with my brothers and sisters, and I'm trying to help let them know that it's going to be better. There's a day that's coming better for us as a people, and we ain't even got there yet. I know we got our first black president, but I believe we've not gotten there yet. The day is coming when all black people will be able to rise all around the globe and be proud and not be at the bottom of anybody's totem pole. I really believe that black folks are going to rise again. Africa is going to unite, like Bob Marley called it, and different people have different ways to say it. I believe we're going to rise again together one day. I might not be here to see it, but I just believe that someday we will stop being the one that everybody's picking on, and that some of those voices and those soul that comes with Sam Cooke singing, especially this particular song, gives me that feeling when I hear it. It gives me that feeling. It gives me that yawn to want to be better and to want to push the next man and woman to be better. We gotta love each other. I know we're just one part of the bigger picture, which is the human race. And I don't mean to take it back out to that whole thing, but yes, I do mean to do it. We're all one. But at the end of the day, being the fact that our race is the one that's struggling the most and being picked on the most, we need to focus on ours first and make sure we get ours to everybody's level. And that's what we're doing. I love black folks. I love what we're doing. Let's make it happen. Much love to y'all tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, another great show in the books. I want to thank everybody for watching, tuning in. I also like to thank our guests for coming on once again. Once again, my panel knocks it out the park again, even though they laughed at my idea. This is gonna work. Good grief. You know what? In a tribute to our boy Sleepaway, this is going to work. Okay? This is doable. Anyways, speaking of Sleepaway, wish you nothing but the best. The panel, we are thinking about you, and keep living your best life out there, man. And we want to see you in the Olympics. Bring back the gold. But Mayo's correct, and Teach is correct. I'm gonna put everything that they was talking about into what I want to say right now. And then also it's kind of funny was my opening statements too about, you know, if you don't like what is going on, do something about it. You know, you just can't be sitting on the sidelines complaining, whimpering, telling people that's trying to do something, telling them what they can't and what they should do. Why don't you do it? We live in a world where, yes, white supremacy does exist and it does keep us down. But we have to inspire those people, the youth, even people that's your peer, that, hey, I tried. I know if you can break that glass ceiling, I'm going to be right there behind you. And if we are more of a people like that, imagine where we would have been 20 years ago. Or how about this? We do that mess now. Imagine how we will be 20 years later down the road with our children and then our children's children. But somebody got to take that first step. But the problem is, so many of y'all is grabbing that person and trying to make that first step back because you've tried to throw your insecurities on them, knowing that you have every power, just like that person. You pull it back to make that first step or make that step together. But also, for those who's taking that first step, don't let that first step be your final step. And what I mean by that's when that individualism come into play, where you get comfortable, where you just think, I got this nice house, I got this nice car, my business is flourishing, I got no worries in the world. But then when you see people back in your hood, yes, I said it, back in your hood, who the ones that told you, hey, man, stay away from the drugs, stay away from what I do, man, because I see a future in you. Don't mess it up. And now that you back all nice, slim out and all that stuff, maybe it's time for you to give them a hand. Now, I understand we all like to get on that little bandwagon train of like, you know, not everybody, you can't save everybody. I get that. But to me, it is much more humbling if I helped out somebody who didn't believe in themselves and I'm sitting there saying, I believe in you. You got this gift. Go out there and do it. And they do it and they go beyond the call of duty. And then they come back and like, man, I don't know how I can repay you. But hey, man, whatever you need, let me know. Or come work with me. Who wouldn't want to take that? Who wouldn't? To go back, share what you know, and inspire a next generation. You may not inspire the friends that helped you, but you will inspire maybe their kids, their friends. Once again, another peer. It always starts with one. But don't make that first step your final step and just stay there because it feels so good. It feels so nice. It's so wonderful. You can feel the water coming down over. It feels so nice. But to get that longevity, you got to make that other step. Then you got to take the other step. And yes, it's going to get uncomfortable along the way. It's going to get tougher along the way. But guess what? As long as you still got power and still got might and blood, tissues, bones, and your joints are still moving, keep going. Because even when you think you fall or thinking you about to fall or about to fail, those same people that you help out be there to either one, help you up to keep you going, or two, you can pass the torch to them and they keep it going. It's not too late. It's not too late for us. It's not too late for you. It's not too late for Teach. It's not too late for Mail. It's not too late for me neither, or for anybody. Take that first step, but don't make that first step your last step. And ladies and gentlemen, I just took myself off the damn screen. Any last words before we head on out and enjoy this nice Friday weekend?
Yeah. You want to go first, teacher? You want me to go ahead? You
You can
know.
go.
Yeah. I found out yesterday, that this property this deal I've been trying to make in California. I mean, I've been to California 3 times this year already. It didn't fall. It didn't fall through the way I wanted to fall through. It fell through. I mean, that somebody else. We didn't get it, and we didn't get it because mostly it's because folks probably felt like they I was going to be one of the first black folks in that community, as a property owner in America. And it was a very very heavy Trump land type deal, but I was one that I didn't care about that in the sense I wanted to make sure that I was going to get it for the sake of business, and investment. So, and I felt like if anything, uh, some of the folks who I met over there who were talking about they like the idea of being diverse or being having the community being diverse. That I will make those my friends, and hopefully with time we start to win over minds and hearts and everything. But I still have to say that like sometimes things are just like you try to make a difference, which the difference is gonna be better for them than for me because it's gonna make their hearts open up more to people who don't look like them, and it's kind of like when Bill Cosby tried to buy the network and they try to raise the price to make sure he don't buy it. That was kind of some of the things that was going on in this case. So, but I'm taking that same money, probably putting back in Inkster now that I'm hearing Sister Anita saying there's a congregation over there of black folks who might be from Nigeria. They're trying to do some stuff over there. So it's just for me the message out there to folks is that don't let like small disappointments or the doors that closes make you feel like you can't do something else, or don't let it be a deterrent or make you feel bad because like for some reason when I got that news yesterday, from the realtor, I just shrugged my shoulder because I'm like like well it just was not. I had already been thinking about it. Like, do I want to do this? Because they, had to put all that on my shoulder. Having to try to be the change agent in that community when I'm not. I don't have no position as the change agent outside the one that I put up on myself. That whenever I can make a difference, go do it. So I was like, I've been putting that question myself before, so it was answered for me. But the only thing I could do is to keep pressing in the positive light, towards the next move. What's the next one? Next one, next one. So, I hope that people, today, as much as we say next one to our significant others and next one to our people next to us, that's not the people we should be saying next one to. It should be our moves. Don't say next one to the person that been around with you, like that been with you through thick and thin. Say next one to the opportunity that you thought you're gonna have that you didn't get. Say next opportunity. So let's stop dumping people. Let's stop dumping things that weights like ideas or maybe business or maybe things that just don't end falling out for us. That material, but not people. So that's what my message is today.
Teach.
Okay. Um, I'm thinking that I just want to send out some positive vibes for this show to increase viewership, to increase donations, to increase participation with the audience. I just want to speak positive vibes of the work that we're doing as a collective to reach our people all around the United States as well as around the world. We had panelists from Argentina, panelists from Uganda, from Washington, South Carolina, uh, Michigan, everywhere. So I'm asking the universe to line up with us, and we line up with the universe to bring forth the greatest success for this show. One of the things as I listen to each and every one of us, Beast included, Superway included, Professor O included, is that we all speak about heaven. We all issue soul food to this show. And so that seems to be our central focus, or we operate from the center of love. So as we operate in the center of love, the universe will love us back with great viewings, with higher participation, and getting getting our name out there, and bringing on premier interviewees, premier guests that would also attract more followers to the show. So I just speak life into this show. I speak success into this show. I speak financial rewards into this show. We have worked, we're improving our craft each and every show. We're learning how to work with difficulties and just hop right on over them and just keep going. So I speak life, I speak love, I speak success for Stage the Black. And I just want to say one other thing. As many of you know, some of you who are just tuning in for the first time, that Donnell Morris was one of my former students. And this was a brainchild of his when he was in my class. And I'm happy to see that he has brought it into manifestation. It was his dream, and I'm here to support his dream. Much success to you personally, and much success to this show.
Teach, thank you so much. But also, it was an inspiration for, because I told you, I said I want to get a show for you or give you a platform where you can express all the things that I learned from you and what you've done for others. And bam, here we go. And then it just took off from there. You had, and then also, not to forget, when we first got started, my battle, Alan Bragg, one of the originals, he also brought his
Oh yeah,
insights to the show too. And so I also been reaching out to him as well. He's now he's a weapons instructor now.
Oh no,
wow,
man.
So
wow.
and I think he runs that too. So I'm still begging him to come back on the show. He hasn't reached back out yet, but we still in contact. So I'm gonna tell him, I was like, hey, you can bring some of that experience. You can teach us how to use use weapons and all that stuff. So big shout out to Bragg. Also big shout out to Sleepaway, and then Professor O. You need to stop hiding. Get back on the show. Miss you. So, but yeah, I appreciate that teaching. Then also Mayo coming in to the show, being part of it. Thank you so very very much, Emily. I mean, with that being said, we just here to, as the slogan says, to control the narrative, and I believe we controlled it. Sometimes we murder the narrative, but guess what? It's our narrative to do whatever we want to. So we are all about solutions for our people, and then also for people outside of our realm to understand us a lot better than what the mainstream has been putting out there to us. And even though we do have disagreements on the show, we still lead to a solution, and that we're not at each other's neck at the end of the show. Yes, we do talk after the show, ladies and gentlemen. So this is not just us just pretending and be professionally nice to each other. This is we share messages and all that stuff, but not try to get too much into it. We need to go out here and enjoy this Friday and enjoy this weekend. And also, we also coming in on Memorial Day. Memorial Day is this weekend, or is it next weekend?
Next weekend.
This weekend?
Next
All right.
weekend.
No, I
Next
think it's
weekend.
next one.
All right, so next weekend. So other than that, as for Anita Joe, aka Teach, as for Mayo, and for me, your host Donnell Martin Morris. Thank y'all for tuning in. Also, once again, thank our guests for being on this show, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag Fade to Black. We control the narrative, and then also don't forget the Unrehearsed podcast. Cannot wait, man. NFL college season's around the corner. I know Mayo's ready. He got
You already
represent
know.
OHIO.
Absolutely.
And then me, I gotta represent those Hokies, and then he's not even on the show. Roll Tide, I guess. But anyways, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Catch y'all later. Bye.
Much love. Much love.